live.
Yeah, no. I saw scheduled.
Let's tweet out the link, innit?
Nah, if it was live, I'm seeing my career's finished. So I'm done.
We finally got a picture. Big man thinks someone will screenshot that. I'm like, oh, is this Dr. Lee, touchline fracas, and that shit will go viral. We finally got a picture. Big man thinks someone will screenshot that. I'm like, oh, is this Dr. Lee? It's playing back.
Yeah.
Who?
There was that feedback.
Oh, I think maybe someone accidentally clicked
that
on
was
the
mine.
link, maybe.
I was just checking if it's working. So.
Yeah. If you guys, everyone just tweet out the link and let's just start in it. Dapo can join us a little bit later. Anyway, let's go. Okay. Hello, welcome to another Ringside Fracas podcast. My name's Lewis. I'm back in the hosting seat for the first time in quite a while, man. But it's good to be back. Listen, I'm a glory hunter. I'm only here to gloat and vent. That is all I'm here to do. I'm going to let everyone else do the rest of talking about every other subject that there is to talk about. But I'm literally only here to gloat and vent. You might not see me for a couple of weeks still because, I just needed to get a lot off my chest. But I'm joined by a packed guest today. We've got Naeem. How you doing, man?
I'm all right. How are you, man?
I'm very good, man. Couldn't be better. My voice is just recovering. Did too much screaming last night. Too much screaming. Yeah, just what a night. And we got Dr. Lee. How you doing, man?
I'm good.
And we got Samps.
Yeah.
You and Dr. Lee were with me in the building last night. How you feeling?
Yeah, man. Lions in the camp and all them things there.
Lions in the camp. Lions in the Copperbox. And we got Jide as well. How you doing, bro?
I'm good. Let's get it, man.
All right, let me tell you all about Lewis yesterday, because I've never seen anything like it in my life. You know when them house raves, you know when people are on like amphetamines and stuff and they're shaking and the pupils all dilated? When knockout came, Lewis was gone. His head was gone. My man was just shouting, shaking, going mad. Eyes, pupils all wide. It looked like 10 lines of coke. It was crazy.
Well, listen, it wouldn't have been out of character for the rest of the arena, who also seemed to be on 10 lines of coke as well. Because last night was just absolute madness. Like I couldn't sleep last night. The adrenaline was mad. Like do you know what it is? I always make references to football. My first love has always been football, right? And I haven't celebrated like that for so long. I've just not had that that buzz from football for years. Absolute years. Maybe the last time I celebrated like that, was Arshavin's goal against Barcelona at the Emirates. If you guys remember it, where we beat Barcelona at the Emirates. That was the last time I went absolutely insane. But
Lewis was gone. Dude,
I forgot what it feels like to be just so, like vindicated and, and being around like the whole arena, which seemed to be like really Lyndon centric to me, which was quite surprising considering it was in London. It just felt so good, man. Like a really good release. I can only imagine how Anthony felt as well, because obviously for the last year, listen, let's get into things now, innit? Let's try to build up a backstory to this fight, and and how
he's still pumped.
Yeah, I'm still pumped, man. I'm still pumped. Obviously, for the last year, we've Anthony's had to endure, like, a lot of people saying you're making excuses, all these things. He's told his story. Lyndon's told their story. There's been numerous changes to the story as time has gone on. And, Anthony's gone from this like really well-respected light heavyweight. People were saying maybe, one of the top 3 in Britain or whatever. And all of a sudden, man's like at the bottom of the pile again. You know what I mean? Like he lost a lot of, I don't want to say respect, but I feel like the boxing community in general is very anti-Yarde at the best of times. So after that loss to Arthur, it really set him back. And like he just had to suck it up, right? You lost on the night. I still think that first fight was very close. I've watched that fight back again, and I still got Yarde by 1 point. I'm very biased, but no one could tell me that Arthur won that fight like convincingly. You know, it wasn't like a 4 or 5 round sweep. You know, a unanimous victory for Arthur. But yeah, it was just coming into this fight. I think there was just so much anxiety build up. Like, I can only imagine what Anthony must have felt like going into this fight with, you know, with this amount of pressure on his shoulders, you know, because if he loses, what happens from there? I'm not too sure, you know. I'm not too sure what happens after if he were to lose yesterday. But you know what? He went out there and did the job in better fashion than anyone could have hoped for. Maybe even better than he could have hoped for. But yeah, Samps, Leroy, I'll come to you guys first because you were there in the arena with me. How was you guys feeling? I'll start with you, Leroy. How was you feeling before the fight? And like, I think you. What was your prediction in the group chat? Was you 7 to 9?
I went for your Yarde UD actually.
You actually went. Oh, so you went decision like me. I went SD. I thought it was going distance. I really did.
The reason I thought that was the case is because of how I always felt Yarde would win. And the reason is because personally I didn't think one, Lyndon looked confident in himself, and two, I feel like his mentality was clearly different. I feel like he would come out and press the fight early. Now, what I thought was Lyndon would be able to keep him on the end of his jab in a similar way to he did at the last fight, but then obviously the pressure would tell. But I thought that Anthony would win the rounds moving forward. But I thought, like, you know, when Lyndon was tying him up and leaning on him and doing all that type of stuff, I felt that would mean that the knockout would be difficult because I didn't see Lyndon as an easy person to knock out. And I'm not saying because Yarde's done it was easy, but I just thought he'd be quite difficult to knock out. So yeah, that's how I felt going into the fight. But I think from the first bell that he was on smoke, you could tell the kind of mentality, and he kind of fought he kind of fought a little bit different as well because I think Seb was saying it in the group. He was fighting that real pressure counter punch type style, so putting on the pressure constantly, putting on that pressure with the front foot, but then using his quick reflexes, avoiding the jab and countering the jab. And every time Lyndon missed, especially in that first round, he made him pay. And he was catching him with quite clean shots. And I feel like after the first sort of 30 seconds when that was happening and he established himself, Lyndon then became shot shy. He then became someone who's just like, ooh, he became a bit wary of actually throwing his punches. And then that just allowed Yarde to take more control of the fight. So yeah, it was a devastating performance. Absolutely devastating. And I'm really happy for him. I'm really, really happy for him because that was really needed for his career.
100%. So yeah, we got like people like Jimmy OJ in the comments. Probably one of the ones chatting shit before the fight, saying all the crap about, oh, you know, Arthur beat Yarde with one hand. What they say, kittens in the cat. All these stupid fucking. Because the thing is, people were too disrespectful. This is the thing. People were too disrespectful. They made up a load of crap. Yeah, made up a lot of excuses, and you know they just looked at things without any context whatsoever, which is fine. If you want to do that, if you want to be ignorant in your opinion, that's fine. But now to go and say, Lou Bob 4-minute monologue for Yarde beating a timid Arthur. Come on, man. Like, people like him are never gonna give Yarde the credit he deserves. Never gonna give credit where it deserves. And you know, like, I think that's just boxing for you, innit? People have got their agendas. They're never going to let people have their happiness. Do you know what I mean? So
I love this version of Lewis still.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Listen.
Energy.
Yeah, I've got energy, man. I've got energy. You got to get. Listen, I'm not taking any disrespect tonight. I'm not taking any disrespect because I've had to watch it for too long. Do you know what I did last night? I went on to previous YouTube comments from all the videos that I remember negative comments. Yeah, mad stuff being said. I went through all of them. I was commenting. Oh, you're right, bro. How did this go, bro? Yeah, how's this? You okay? You feeling okay? Yeah, this was a good prediction. Well done, mate. Well done. I was going mad. I was going absolutely mad because I just felt so vindicated. Do you know what I mean? I felt so vindicated. And now people just have to shut the fuck up. People just have to shut the fuck up. Your boy got laid out. That's it. Through the ropes. Man, I call him for a fucking rematch. Man, I'm calling for a rematch, you know. Oh, it's 1-1. What are you talking about? It's 1-1. What are you talking about? Your boy got flung through the ropes. It's done. You know, Lyndon didn't even want this rematch. He ain't gonna want a third one, is he? Let's face it. He ain't gonna want a third one. But yeah, man, I just feel really vindicated. Samps, I'll come over to you because you see, I'm in this mood where I'm just gonna rant. I might make some points that don't make any sense. You know what I mean? So you guys got to keep me in check. You guys got to keep me in check, all right?
I'm a bit shocked, I'm a bit scared to that. Are you sure? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine, mate. I'm fine.
Cool. Basically, like I said, you know, Oracle Samps does it again. Maximum points this week.
Why are you so low in the prediction league, by the way, Sam?
Because obviously I was fighting. I was going with my heart before, but now I'm going for the points. Yeah, I was doing BLM and all that stuff, like black man tax and all that stuff. But now I'm going straight for the points. So you know, the turnaround starts in it. We've got last couple of weeks of the year. We're gonna storm the league. But yeah, anyway, like I said last week, yeah, literally spot on, absolutely spot on. I said it's gonna be round 13. The way it finishes, the way it's gonna start. You can see by his by Yarde's the way he's talking in the press, the way he's coming out to the media, and that he's not here to play any games. He's not trying to box with you. He's going to show you that basically you might have the skills and so forth. I'm the better fighter, and I'm just going to fight you. And in that realm, for Yarde, he's going to smack up a lot of people, like especially like someone who like Lyndon, who really and truly, if you actually watch the build up properly, basically said, "Don't hit me to the body. I don't like it. Like you hurt me to the body." Yeah, and what did Anthony do? Went straight down to the body. Started giving him left to right to the body, sinking him right in. You can see right from the cuff, it was just, he was gun shy. Absolutely took away the fantastic jab that Arthur has. Arthur they spoke about his jab being so impressive. He kept Yarde in the back foot. Literally, Yarde went in there. I think he carried it. He started off. First shot was a 1-2, set the tone for the fight straight away. Lyndon became gun shy for his jab. Yarde had him fainting. Yarde was fainting, and Lyndon was biting at everything. It was so timid to be hit. Like everything he threw had mustard on it. It was a savage flogging. There's no other ways about it. Like it was a complete flogging. The only thing Arthur actually had to offer was to try and maul and spoil the fight. He became very scared very early, and personally, I feel like he walked to that fight like it was his execution day. Like he knew this was always going to be the case for him, because when you watch the whole build up and everything, and the way it's happened over the course of the year, about the rematch not getting off the day it was meant to get off, them trying to avoid the rematch, trying to go to lawyers to get out of the contract, and even the fact that as far as Friday and saying Sunday comes to a fight because he knows he's possibly can get locked out. From there, I said that is all the conviction I need. He is getting slumped. I was gonna go originally 7-9, but when I saw that, I said 4-6. He's getting him out of there. And the minute he got him hurt, he was done.
Yeah,
absolutely done. Flogged him. Absolutely flogged him.
I think we've spoken about this topic. We spoke about this fight, like you know, Yarde, Arthur. We've spoke about it a lot on this podcast over the last year or so, and we've, you know, a lot of people have made reference to the fact that maybe Lyndon doesn't quite believe in himself, you know, as much. And Jide, did you think that was evident coming into the fight, as well as, you know, being evident during the fight as well?
Yeah, no, 100%. I'm actually quite pissed that I didn't do 4-6. I did what's it called, Yarde by unanimous decision, and the reason why I thought that is because I thought Yarde will start strong, will get tired in the mid rounds, and then late will like do what he did last time, and Lyndon will find a way to survive. But yeah, no, Lyndon didn't want the fight. There was a reason why he goes, "Oh, I want to fight in Manchester," even though he knows he can't fill out an arena in Manchester. He can't. You're a prize fighter. This is prize fighting. You fight for money. The most money is made in London. I understand you won the belt. I understand you're the champion now, but you signed a rematch clause and you're doing everything in your power to get out the rematch. Listen, one thing I always rate Frank Corona about is he's elite with the suing. He is elite with the suing. If you sign a contract with Frank and you say you're going to do something, you're going to do it or you're going to pay for it. That's just the two. Those are your only options. And I love that. I love that about him. And the guy, when it comes to the build-up, was talking about, "Oh, you hurt me to the body." Who says that? Who says that? If you're confident, if you're trying to psych out your opponent, you don't say things like that. And then he tried to he said something mad. Then he tried to say, "But you don't know what shot you hurt me with." Like, what? What? Really, bro? You gave away the game before the fight started. So obviously Ant is there thinking, yeah, all right, I hurt you, yeah. Oh, I don't know what punch. Okay, boy. I'll just go to your body left and right combinations. I'll just wait. If I've hurt you to the body, I don't need to know which shot hurt you. I'll just beat up your body. I know I can hurt you there. And he's just, you can see even from the first round, he was very stiff. Like he didn't expect Anthony to come out like that, to just come out of the high guard and just try to be first to the punches. He wasn't expecting that. And
but he's been saying but the thing is, Jide, he was saying in the build up to this fight, they were saying, we know what Anthony's gonna try and do. We know he's gonna try and knock me out. We know. They said that numerous times. We know what he's gonna do. What could he have done better to better prepare for this fight? Like, what could he have done better?
Firstly, boxers talk. Everyone's gonna say, yeah, I know what my opponent can bring. Like even my boy AJ, like before the Usyk fight, he was saying, oh, if this guy wants war, I'll do. Come on, everyone's gonna talk to hype up a fight, but when you're actually in there, it's a completely different kettle of fish. Now, Lyndon, what he could have done to better win this fight was he needed to stop Anthony from doing what Anthony was doing. Like you could see in the second and third round when he was having a little bit more success with his jabs. That's what he needed to do. But and when he was pushing Anthony back, that is what he needed to maintain, but he just couldn't because Anthony didn't respect his power. Huh?
That was a myth. Let me tell you, that was a myth, yeah.
It's not a myth. He was pushing back.
Lyndon was doing nothing but trying to basically survive. Like
Lyndon was wrestling him. Like let's not. Yeah. Anthony punched him up, but let's keep it true. Lyndon was pushing him when they both got in a clinch. Lyndon was the stronger fighter. There's nothing wrong with that because Anthony is the puncher, but Lyndon was pushing him back. What he needed to do is when he got in close with Anthony, although to me that's a stupid idea because Anthony's got amazing short punches. But okay, you've done that. Put your weight on him. When the ref splits you up, then start throwing jabs. Start doing what you do. Go back to your construct. That's what I would have done. But what happened?
The comments was savage.
They hate it, or whatever. But anyway, that's what I would have done. Lyndon needed to taper Anthony's aggression, and he just couldn't. It's like he was scared to throw the right hand. He threw it a few times, but he was scared to throw the right hand because he knew Anthony was back. The left hook is coming back, and then he was scared to throw lazy jabs. Like, bro, it doesn't matter if you miss. Throw double, triple jabs. You have to make Anthony not want to come inside you. And he just couldn't do it.
Pause.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, massive pause, man. Massive pause. But Naeem, let me come on to you. Oh wow. Bigger pause. Nice, man. Everyone's moving mad. Listen, yeah, Naeem, I think a big part of this fight, was a lot up here, like psychological warfare. And, normally speaking, when I don't really pay too much mind to press conferences and stuff like that, because like Jide says, fighters talk, you never really, it's very hard to like actually see what is, what is actually going through a fighter's head, right? But a lot of fighters are really good at masking their true feelings and putting on a charade, and, just appearing more confident maybe than they actually are. But I found that the background to this fight, I feel like there was a really interesting psychological story developing, right? It was like, Anthony was kind of, he was saying, you know what, I did a lot of things wrong in the first fight. My mind wasn't here, but you know what? That's all done now. I'm ready to put it behind me and I'm fully focused on this fight. But I saw like a change in Lyndon's kind of psychological state before this fight. I felt like he tried to come across really, really confident. And I don't really think that's who Lyndon is, really. I feel like he was trying to be someone that he isn't. And I wonder how much that played a factor into this fight. Do you think that the psychological warfare before the fight had any bearing on this fight?
I mean, it's hard to tell like what a fighter thinks and doesn't think, going into a fight or whatnot. But I've said this in the preview. If you compare both fighters, Lyndon and Anthony, even before the first fight, Lyndon's a more schooled fighter. He's spent more time in the amateurs, building himself up there. And Anthony's had less amateur fights and he's building himself in the pro ranks. But with Lyndon, he's more technical with his jab and schooled. But other than that, he has nothing to offer. And with Yarde, he's got those combinations. Physically, I've said before, he's a specimen in that division. Like, if you had to say who's athletically one of the best guys, he's one of those guys that, in terms of athleticism and speed and power. So I think when Lyndon won the first fight, it was probably like he was thinking to himself as he's going through these negotiations for the rematch, did I really beat him because he's not that great, or he just had a bad day and that's why I beat him? So I think that was sort of going through his mind is, look, he's coming back now. What do I do now? Because if he's on his best day, what's going to happen? And it was weird because, when he got knocked down on Saturday, it was weird because when he got up, he wasn't complaining to the ref. There was nothing. It was like he just accepted defeat. And he didn't, it wasn't like, usually when the ref counts them out, they get out, the ref counts them out, they're arguing, saying, "Oh, let me get back in, I want to fight." He just accepted it straight on. So like Sam said, I think it did at the end, when you look at it all together, it did look like what he said, the execution. He was going to his judgment day, basically. He's going to get executed. When it comes to psychologically, I don't like, a lot of people were counting out Yarde. So maybe in his head, he was thinking, oh, they're counting him out. Yeah, I got a chance. But I think really he knew there was nothing more he offered other than his jab. And if he couldn't get that off, he was in a long night. Because that round 12, when Yarde was letting his hands go, and he was getting past the jab, that was what was troubling him. And then we saw that on Saturday. So yeah, I think partly there was psychological. He knew that there was not much more he could offer than he did in that first fight. So here was just, as soon as he got knocked down, he's like, this is long. That's it. Let me out, basically.
Yeah, it certainly did seem that way. I was a bit surprised. Obviously, I saw him get knocked down, but he wasn't like put on his back or anything like that.
No.
And so when I saw him, sorry.
No, I was gonna say, like, a lot of us, including me, we underestimated how hard Yarde punches. Like the deep hit, the guy's only gone the distance with one guy. With two people. Actually, no, he only gone the distance with one guy. Sorry, which is Lyndon when he beat him. And in that fight, he didn't really throw anything. In the fight he lost, he severely hurt Kovalev, and in all his other fights, he stopped him. Mm-hmm. So we all knew, even Anthony himself knew, bro, I didn't really stick on this guy. If I stick on this guy, I will stop him. And I feel like that's what a lot of people were missing, as I said, myself, including me, when I've done my predictions. Because, yeah, you can say a guy's not fighting great opposition, but a man is still a man. And if you hit a man and a man goes over, it's because you can punch.
Yeah.
So
I want to talk about what's next for Yarde and things like that. But I just want to talk about game plan, right? Because we had a conversation in the group chat yesterday about this game plan going forward for Yarde. Is this the right way to go? And some people have made comments about potentially, not just for this fight, but in the past, maybe Anthony's gas tank not quite being there. People have said that potentially he might not be able to sustain a certain intensity throughout. We saw in the fight against Kovalev, Anthony basically got stopped because of exhaustion. No matter, people want to make jokes about being stopped by a jab, but it was literally he was knackered, absolutely knackered. That's why he got stopped in that fight. With this kind of style, this really intense style, do you guys foresee any issues going forward with that gas tank? Like, is this style going to be able to be implemented on everyone that he faces?
Boy, I think personally, it's a very good style to take forward. However, against certain quality boxers, you're gonna have to pick your moments, I guess, or box within spots and not just empty your tank. Like with Lyndon, it was very easy to implement that style because Lyndon wasn't really throwing much back and was very timid. So you could effectively impose yourself against him. But if you've got someone that's willing to trade with you, or just as equally willing to meet in the middle, you are gonna have to be a bit more clever, if you get what I'm saying. Because he, to a degree, Yarde was happy to follow him around and wasn't really cut off the ring. But I guess someone else, you're gonna have to be a bit more strategic in the way you fight within those spots. But in terms of your actual absolutely being on them for any mistake they made in terms of like having a lazy jab or your right hand not really when it's targeting, countering. It's perfect. Like it was very like Canelo-esque, where Canelo stalks you and just keeps that constant pressure on you. So even if it's not, what Yarde was doing to Anthony, to Lyndon, sorry, which was really good, was even when he's not throwing a punch, because he's in your face and you can see he's ready to trigger at any moment. He's keeping you thinking, which is keeping your hands at home, which is really good. I think that's really good to implement against everyone going forward.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I wish Seb was on this pod, like, because he in a group he described it perfectly. Like Yarde I don't know if they should study some Canelo tapes, or if they do study Canelo tapes or whatever. That is how, obviously he's not as good as him, but that is the construct he should fight in going forward, because he's explosive, he punches hard with both hands, and he's great at throwing body and headshots, combinations, and all of that. As you said in the fight, because he was standing in range of Lyndon, it was making Lyndon timid. Lyndon kept thinking, and because Yarde in this division is smaller than everyone in terms of height and reach, so again, it's similar to a Canelo, obviously not to the same degree, but you're the smaller fighter. You need to be able to basically commit these guys and counter, be an aggressive counter puncher essentially, and also be the front foot guy and set up combinations and set up exchanges. And I think this is how Anthony has to fight. You can't say, let me go back to the shoulder roll and cute stuff. Obviously, you can still do that. You still have that in your locker when you need it. But going forward, this is how he has to fight. If he fights Beterbiev like this, Bivol, all these guys that have better amateur experience than him, what they don't have is the explosiveness. They might have the skills, but they don't have. If you can just master a way to slip and counter, and I think this style is perfect for him. Perfect.
If he fights Bivol like that, he puts Bivol on a stretcher. I'm telling it now.
Really?
100%. And Bivol's good, but he lays him out flat.
Interesting.
Did he go into the shoulder roll stance? I can't remember. I don't remember seeing that once.
No, he didn't. I watched it back just now. He didn't.
Nice. High guard. And sometimes he put his arm low just to try and bait him. He didn't. Just try and bait him.
One thing is, he was just high guard, but he was in mid range and just edge. As soon as Lyndon threw something, his eyes were locked in on him. Boom, slip, bang. You're not going to get away with it. Boom, slip, bang. And the thing is, Lyndon was like a pressure counter puncher is the worst person to fight, because you can't do anything. You're going backwards, especially if they're cutting off the ring. If you don't throw anything, you're not going to get the respect. But if they're sharp, like Anthony was, if you throw something, they're countering you. It's dumb. It's mad.
Jimmy OJ is saying you're mad.
Is a hater.
Jimmy OJ is a proper hater. I see him about, man. He's one of them guys I see him about on other platforms. He thinks I ain't forgot his comments, bro. He was the one screaming all kittens in the camp on other YouTube channels and that, bro. I've been watching him. Don't worry. He's just a hater. This is it. Like, but this is the thing. Like I said, people don't want to give credit where credit is due. But one person I do want to give credit to where it's due is Tunde and the coaching setup. You know, we've all spoke about it on this podcast. Let's get it out there. We've all spoke about, you know, Yarde potentially needing a new trainer, and, you know, people have made jokes at Tunde's expense and all of these things, right? About how, you know, so the only advice is empty the tank or lions in the camp. But I think they made some really good adjustments for this fight. The introduction of James Cook as well. You know, I think Tunde actually gave the credit to James Cook, if I'm right in I haven't heard it myself, but I heard. So where are you guys gonna go in terms of like giving Tunde credit? Like, how far do we go with this? Is he fully redeemed? How far do we go essentially with the praise is what I'm asking, guys.
Who wants to take it? Okay, I'll start. Tunde, bro, we've got to give him credit. We've got to give him credit. He ate humble pie after what happened last time. He saw all the comments. Again, we also said that. I said the guy I feel like he isn't. He's just too inexperienced at that level at that time. But what you can say is they stuck together. They saw what they needed to work on. None of all that cute shit. They got James Cook in, and the combination worked. again, there's always that saying that you always have to leave the guy that got you to a certain level because he can't get you to the next level for whatever reason. But we've seen examples of guys that they've stayed with the guy that, like for example, you could make the argument that Canelo made Reynoso or Reynoso made Canelo. Like, it was Reynoso before Canelo Alvarez. But because of what Canelo Alvarez became, everyone's seen him as the greatest trainer that's ever existed or some other bullshit. So obviously, I'm not here saying Tunde is the best trainer ever, but I'm here to say the fact that he saw what needed to be done and what he done wrong, and they needed another sort of trainer in the camp to work on this sort of style and this sort of fight, lets me to know that he's not an idiot, that he's good for Yarde in whatever aspect in their relationship is working, right? I will say going forward, I still don't feel like he should go back to the empty the tank, like all that bullshit. I don't think he's going to do that, hopefully. But if this setup, this construct goes forward, because clearly Anthony likes Tunde being around him, there's something that Tunde brings to Anthony that he feels is invaluable. So if this relationship goes forward, and I've seen clear improvements. What we wanted to see Anthony do, he did. So I can't sit here now and say, Tunde still needs to go. We have to see how it unfolds. But from what I've seen, clearly he's fixed his wrong. So we'll see in it.
It's difficult with boxing, right? Because someone, David Ade, just made a reference to Tunde being like a football manager, right? But the difference is with football is you're playing every week. So you can have a spell where you can maybe reverse a loss, avenge a loss and go and win 2 or 3 games. With boxing, you're fighting maybe 2 to 3 times a year. So it's difficult to see that progression sometimes because it's not happening from week to week. We're looking at things from a much further distance, and you might have to wait 2 years to see an improvement in some fighters. People are talking about Buatsi with Virgil Hunter, and Buatsi's been with Virgil for what is it nearly a year now?
Yeah, it was since it was since the fight in lockdown. So
since the fight, that guy thought that like bust him up a little bit.
Yeah. So like these things can take time, but at the same time, as a boxer, you don't have time really. So it's difficult to really measure how well a trainer is doing, or the impact a trainer is having on a fighter, because there is such a small sample size, right? You're fighting with any one trainer. If you have a trainer every 3 years, you might only have 5 fights with that trainer. If that. So it's really, really difficult, I find, to analyze these things. Do you guys have any other further thoughts on Tunde's role and going forward, whether he is still the right guy for Anthony?
Personally, think that if we go judging on history, then let me not be too harsh. They introduced a new trainer who, in the next fight, I guess, which was a rematch, was very successful. We saw a different Anthony Yarde who looked, better. So let's not criticize Tunde, and I guess let's say that they made the right adjustments, because that's what at the end of the day is taking place here. However, if we go by the base of history, Tunde has a lot to he has to show us a lot more. Like he has to change his perception of how the public perceive him, and that's going to take more than one fight. And I guess for me personally, I haven't watched so much Tunde interviews and stuff like that, which I guess is why I'm not really criticizing too much, because I haven't really got too much to pull him up on. Apart from the thing where he started saying, "I don't want to get road or go back to the road." That was a bit weird. That was
cringy from both parties, though, man.
Outside of that, I haven't really seen too much interviews where he's calling Yarde the greatest thing since sliced bread and saying it's going to be up Ward and all this stuff. So I can't really hate on him, because at the end of the day, it was a job well done today. So no criticism from me.
Naeem, what about yourself?
I'd say the current setup looks all right. You have Tunde, and then they drafted in James Cook also to help out. So I mean, it's really only Yarde knows what's good for him and what's not. You could get the greatest trainers in the world, if you don't gel with them, they don't click. They don't click. So if this is what's good for him and he feels all right with this, then just go with it, I guess, because everyone's gonna say go with this, go with that, but only you know what's best for you. So it's up to him. So right now it seems all right. So just keep going and see how it goes, isn't it?
Fair points, man. Fair points. A lot of it is environment, man. Who you gel with, you know, having that rapport with someone. You know, there's plenty of fighters who have had really good careers chopping and changing trainers. There's also plenty of fighters who have had great careers sticking with one guy for their whole career, right? So it's hard to say, like, it's not a one size fits all kind of thing. There's context to be taken into account. These are, you know, difficult decisions to have. Just in terms of you know, there's some questions here that I want to get into, and Jimmy OJ says that Craig Richards beats Yarde. Where does Yarde now sit in, like, the UK light heavyweights? You know, obviously there's such a rich we're blessed right now in this division. It's such a ridiculously talented division. You know, people are coming out of the woodwork now. Obviously, we got Dan Aziz, who's just on fire. You know, you got Craig Richards, who, you know, was, you know, no offense to Craig, but he was, no one really knew about him. You know, he was like, you know, kind of underground a little bit. He had a great performance against Bivol, which he got a lot of credit for, which I find a bit interesting. You know, Yarde didn't get the same credit for, you know, an even better performance against Kovalev, I thought. But anyway, we move. Yeah, where does Yarde now sit in this, like, crop of British light heavies? Does he go top of the pile? Because in my opinion, he's got the best win on his resume now, right? Who else has beaten a fighter as good as Lyndon Arthur in such emphatic fashion as Anthony did? I don't think there is one. You know, if I'm looking at all their resumes, you know, Dan Aziz had a good fight against a good win against Hosea Burton, but I think it's clear to see Hosea Burton is not that guy anymore. You know, maybe a couple of years ago that would have been a little bit different. Boatsi's got Bolotniks, but other than that, you know, who's the best fighter Craig Richards has beat? You want to talk about Yarde fighting postmen and stuff like that? Who has Craig Richards beat? No one really, has he? Can you name anyone that Craig Richards beat?
Shaq and Peters.
But it's hard because Yarde was supposed to do what he did to Arthur the first fight. That's what we all expected. Do you know what I mean? Like, he was supposed to blow him out or beat him up or do something to him. So what he done on the weekend is what we expected. But what I will say is that win puts him right up there. Right? Like, I'm not gonna come out and say who is number one. If you're gonna talk about, like, pedigree and talk about in terms of who they fought, then you'd have to say Callum Johnson's probably fought the better guys in general. Like, he's fought Beterbiev, he iced out Buglioni, but Buglioni will get smashed by everyone anyway, so it doesn't really mean much. But he's right now WBO manager. He's gonna fight Joe Smith Jr. So I can't say Yarde is better than all these guys, but what I can say is he's definitely on their level. Like, I can see scenarios where Yarde beats all of them. I think if Yarde and Callum Johnson fought today or tomorrow, I can see Yarde winning that personally, and it will be an absolute firefight. Like, I feel like Callum Johnson probably hits a bit harder than Yarde personally, but I feel like Yarde has more explosiveness, more speed, and sharper reflexes. And if Callum Johnson makes one mistake, Yarde can starch him. So it's crazy. Like, I genuinely feel like he can win a WBO like heavyweight title from Joe Smith Jr. or the winner of Joe Smith and Callum Johnson. I genuinely believe Yarde can and will beat them. So I can't say the same for Boatsi against Bivol right now. I just can't say it because Boatsi's still trying to learn how to fight the Virgil Hunter way. But Boatsi is extremely talented. He's got better feet than Yarde, in my opinion. He's more skilled than him, and he's also aggressive. Like, he's spiteful. He wants to hurt you. So all of them, I feel like them two are the top of the pile, but all of them are really, really good. So that's me.
I think it's a division, right, where it's like boxing in its most purest form, where they say styles make fights. I feel like, even just to get back to Lyndon, I feel like there's fights there's fighters in this crop that Lyndon can beat, you know, and I feel like they can all kind of beat each other. you know, and there isn't like this one guy who is way clear of everyone else. I think it's going to come down to styles. I think it's going to come down to who's living a life, who's in the right, who's in the best mental space, tactics, training, all of these things. I think all these margins and all these factors, they're gonna play its part. And it could well be that, you know, maybe Yarde beats Buatsi, but maybe Yarde loses to Aziz, but Aziz loses to Buatsi. Richards beats Arthur. Do you know what I mean? Arthur beats Aziz. It could really turn out like something like that if they were to all fight each other. Now, I don't envisage that even 20% of these fights will be made, which is a big shame, because I feel like it's something that can be very lucrative for all these boys, you know. And I would hate for them to, for like someone like Lyndon now, if we talk about Lyndon and where he goes next, I would hate for him to be frozen out. You know, he's going to have promoter issues now. Frank, I mean, listen, Frank has left him out to dry, really and truly. It's harsh, and I don't know the backstory, but you wouldn't want to see this being Lyndon Arthur's highest ever payday. You know, there should be more paydays there for him. He should be able to get in good domestic fights with these guys, and they should all be able to scrap it out. But is there the appetite from them to do it? Craig Richards already said he don't want any more fights at domestic level.
I feel like that's such a big mistake for me, because with the British scene, like the domestic scene has always been massive. Like we turn out. So these guys not wanting to fight at this level it's madness to me. Like Lyndon, if I was him, I'll be calling boxer. I'll be like, you guys need fighters, sign me up. You've already seen me beat Yarde. I can mix it in with these guys. That is, for me, that's an easy pathway. If I was Lyndon, that's what I'd be working towards. But all these guys need to fight each other, and I hope they do. So
it's sad, because it's going to be the lightweight division again, where we've got a whole crop of fighters that should be mixing it up. Yeah, really and truly, the most ideal thing, which is not going to happen, is like a Super 6 scenario where we get them, throw them all in, and whoever rises to the top, rises to the top. But it's not gonna happen.
Or you have two world champions who are British, you know, and it gets, and they fight that way. You know, if for example Yarde beats the winner of Callum Johnson and Joe Smith Jr., then maybe Buatsi gets his, maybe somehow Buatsi wins a world title against Bivol or something. Then you have like an undisputed British fight. Then all of a sudden now, people kind of forget, oh shit. Because I think the issue right now is people are looking at the domestic scene and thinking, shit, if I lose one fight here, I could get left behind maybe.
That's it. That's what I'm coming in to say.
They're looking at the route to the world title, which is that I can't turn that down. But if the top level is the British fighters, and you've got Yarde who's got a world title, Buatsi got a world title, you know, then we're gonna get those fights. I think that's what I'm
saying. Because like the reason, if you think about it, if you were a manager for Craig Richards right now, if Craig Richards goes in against Buatsi, that's a hard fight. He could easily lose. If he loses against Buatsi, what's his next step? He's gonna have to fight Aziz, for example, or something like that, right? If he goes in, he's fought Bivol. Now, if he goes in now and fights Beterbiev for Joseph Jr., loses, cool. Then he goes and fights a Marcus Brown, loses again, cool. Big payday. Then he goes in and fights someone at European level, loses, cool. Then British fights are still going to be there. But then he's got 3 more paydays, which are probably going to be higher than most of the British level paydays anyway. So that's why people are thinking like that. I mean, I don't think anyone's scared of anyone. It's just like it's a management thing. You've got a short career with a limited amount of fights, and these guys want to maximize their money, because the thing is, once you fall off in the domestic scene, you're back fighting for 5, 8 bags, 10 bags of fight. Like, people don't want that. Do you know what I mean?
Is there not a way to make this more like lucrative for these guys though? I know like a Super 6 is probably not like doable because of the, you know, there isn't that world title there for anyone to win, but surely there's enough money in these fights. I don't know how much Anthony or Lyndon made last night, but I'm pretty sure they made a pretty penny. Yeah, if they had the right backing behind these fights, the right promotion, the right marketing, surely they can make these fights and pay these fighters the equivalent of what it would be on the world stage. Is that not possible?
They could, but it'd have to be like a tournament format, and it'd have to have big money behind it to guarantee. So to guarantee if someone winning and lost, then they're not frozen out, and they need to make money. So you'd have to have like a format where it guaranteed them all, say free fights or something for decent money. And I mean, it could be. I think it really could go well. I think it could be marketed massively. Definitely, I think that's a good thing. But that's the only way you can do it. Otherwise, if you're the manager of any of these guys, you're not steering them in that direction because that would be negligent.
But we could argue that this is sort of already happening. So you could say maybe this is like a quote unquote semi-final. Anthony and Lyndon, that's been dusted out. Let's say Buatsi and Richards get in together, then you could say, cool, them two, they know who the best is between these crop of between the Matchroom and the Warren stable. My guy goes and wins the WBO. Buatsi goes and wins the WBA, let's say, and boom, them two fight unified. Then it's the final.
So if you're Richards' manager right now, are you putting him in with Buatsi?
Of course not. But
that's the best point.
No. But remember, Richards already fought for a title when he lost.
I know.
Fighting Buatsi and winning, you get launched straight into a title again. It's the quickest route.
100%. But he could easily and probably will lose that fight.
But the reason why we're saying no is because we don't believe he's good enough to really beat Buatsi like that.
Even if it was a 50-50, because he's not really. Even if it was, because he's not got a household name, so he needs to work his way up the rankings into positions to make money. That's the only way he's going to do it, because he's not going to do it off being a draw. So if you're his manager, you're his management, you're trying to get him strategic fights to get his ranking up, so he can get another title shot.
Of course,
you're trying to get him fights that will get him, nick him a WBO or WBA free, nick him a final eliminator, and then nick him a world title shot. That's what you're doing if you're his manager.
I agree, but what world title path are you going right now? You're still going through the WBA. You just lost. You lost your title shot, and you're not going through the WBO. You're not going through the WBC. You're still looking at the WBA and IBF.
Yeah, but then it doesn't matter which governing body it is. Even if it's the one you lost in, it's about what are your purses going to be in those fights.
I agree, but my point is you're going to have to see Buatsi because Buatsi
you will have to see Buatsi, but you're not going to put him in against Buatsi next. You keep saying I agree and then arguing, bruv. You're a debater. Like,
this is what Jide does on Twitter all day, man.
I'm just saying, but
hey, all right.
What promoters have actually said that they want the fight next, as in Buatsi and Yarde?
No, it's Warren that wants that because Warren wants to destroy Matchroom. Like Warren is on a roll right now, and he really believes in his guys right now. Do you know what I mean? He had a very low 2020, a very low 2019, very low 2018. He was low, so now he's a bit, he's ready to rock and roll.
I think if your answer is a no-brainer to go for the world title, right?
Yeah,
because even if you lose that world title fight, these UK fights are still going to be there.
Yep. What Warren saying, let's fight Buatsi is just talk. It's just a boost. It's basically to get people who watch Buatsi to say, yeah, man, Anthony Yarde, he's on it. Or them.
But it needs to happen, right?
Last night as well.
Someone kicked this Jimmy OJ guy out, bro. Like he said, his biggest win is against Spellman. Spellman fixed my boiler last Tuesday. He's taking the piss.
It's hilarious.
Hey, kick this shit out, fam.
Such a clown.
But yeah, like Warren is only mentioning Buatsi to build up Yarde's profile. They saw how it worked. Of course, that's the fight that's going to eventually happen. Like they're intertwined, but we saw how using another fighter's name builds your profile. Warren has seen it live. He's part of it.
Who does
I don't think Buatsi or Yarde's profile needs to be built up anymore. If anything, I'll say Yarde's a bigger fighter.
Nah, their profile still needs to be. If they want to make money, if them two fight, they want to make it £1 million fight, 7-figure fight at least, right? To make it a 7-figure fight, the whole country needs to, not the whole country, but a lot of
boxing fans,
yeah,
and casuals, like casuals, everything.
Yeah, so to do that, you need to build the rivalry. You need to build a profile. So if Warren's mentioning Buatsi, it will keep fans like us thinking, yeah, oh, if that fight happens, let's talk about it. Let's make YouTube videos about it. Let's talk about it on pods like this. That will get the ball ticking. So when it does get to the point where Buatsi has his title and Yarde has his title, they will unify and they will make bank.
You know, I agree. I thought he was insinuating that Buatsi is a bigger profile. I was like,
no.
We've got a few more things to get through, but I just want to ask you guys, who does Yarde stand a better chance of beating in this prospective world title fight that could be coming up?
Joe Smith Jr.
Yeah.
Johnson.
Oh, out of Johnson and Joe Smith.
Yeah.
Johnson.
Oh, you basically just assuming Joe Smith is going to be.
Yeah. I think Joe Smith's going to win. So, but yeah, Johnson. If Johnson wins it, that would be beautiful.
Yeah, that's like.
How big is that fight, Yarde Johnson? Where could that be?
Johnson's not a big name, but again, that will all be driven by Yarde. In terms of the marketing side of it.
Very winnable though. That's quite a good. That's quite a nice route for Yarde.
Very winnable.
What about Joe Smith Jr.?
I think both are winnable. I think with Joe Smith, it's a shootout. He's going to have to get rugged. He's going to have to get down and dirty. But I think they're both winnable fights.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think Yarde has more of a chance of beating Joe Smith Jr. than Buatsi does because of the styles.
Interesting. Do you think that fight would be in America, or do you think it'd be here?
America, 100%.
More money in America, yeah?
Yeah, come on. Plus, Bob Arum is Frank Warren's dad, so come on.
Yeah. You know what? You know what's funny about that statement? Bob Arum could actually be Frank Warren's dad. Like, he's old enough to be Frank Warren's dad.
Yeah.
Easy.
That's mad. Anyway, let's move on. Listen, we've already gone for like an hour, so I don't know how much of this we're going to be able to talk about. On that card, Hamza Shiraz, controversial win over Skeet. I thought Shiraz was kind of struggling, and he put his foot on the gas and started to improve. But you know,
that boy doesn't know how to adjust. That's just what I'm going to say. He doesn't know how to make adjustments on the fly. Like, he was getting outboxed for fun. He was struggling so hard. And that was a DQ. I'm sorry, it was a DQ 100%. But it's a Frank Warren show. Hamza Shiraz, that's his new meal ticket. You know, the Asian community are riding for their boy. Come on, he's not gonna shake him. He's already told them refs and them, hey, just allow it, man. I'll put 5K's coming to you tomorrow morning.
Hey, listen. You don't want to get sued today, yeah?
No, but yeah, he has a lot to work on, man. He has a lot to work because that was a very poor.
You know what? Yeah, I've seen Hamza Shiraz training and stuff previously and fight previously, like under Will Jones and so forth. Yeah, and since he's changed trainers, it looks worse. He's gone over to America, and thought he's gonna push his career on, but he used to fight like using his attributes, using his jab and stuff, using his reach. And now when you go to the ring, he fought like a small guy, like he fought
close to me.
Like literally took away half his attributes. It was so weird. I was thinking, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
Bradley Skeet was just using his feet a bit against him, great hands, but using his feet and literally stepping out of range comfortably. It was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I thought Skeet was winning that fight. I mean, I can't say I was watching it like, with great attention, but to me it looked like Skeet was winning the fight pretty comfortably. But Shiraz did. The thing is, Shiraz did he did change the flow a little bit, and I thought for the rounds leading up to the stoppage, controversial stoppage or not, he obviously did knock Skeet down, and I did feel like the fight was swinging into Shiraz's favor. And he may have stopped Skeet even if. That
punches.
What's that?
If he didn't throw the extra 3 punches.
Yeah, even if that stoppage hadn't have happened the way it did, I did think Shiraz was stemming the tide a bit and changing the course of the fight.
He was. But I feel like that's more to do with Skeet's stamina than like Hamza like changing things and doing something different. I don't know, Naeem, what do you think? Because that's your boy. I want you to speak on. That's your dog.
How you made Naeem the spokesman for Hamza Shiraz, bro? I feel like there's a bit of racial profile in there.
When it comes to State of Jeddah, I speak for all brown boxers, so it's fine. Are we sure the stoppage was controversial? I mean, protect yourself at all times. You know what I mean? Like,
man was on the floor like this,
no, I mean, watching the fight, it was very frustrating watching him fight at the start. It seemed like the nerves of the fight sort of got to him as well. Like he was he didn't want to come out, like throw his hands a lot, and everyone was saying, throw your hands. There's no point trying to fight at Skeet's pace and letting him do what he done. I mean, let's be real, he made Skeet look like Billy Joe Saunders for a few rounds. Like you shouldn't do that, especially with a 34-year-old guy like him. You know, you should be coming out there. You're the younger, fresher fighter. You should look like that and be beating him. And he was just doing trying to hit those one-hitter quitters. But like you said, as the fight went on, there were a couple of adjustments, but not proper big ones. Like he needs to go back to the drawing board and look at that fight and see what went wrong with the plan, why he didn't come out the way he should have. And I don't know about the trainer and everything, because I don't know much about his trainers, because I've never really heard of his trainer like that. But yeah, like Sam said, he's the bigger fighter, but he wasn't really trying to be the bigger fighter, and he was very timid. Wasn't again, he just wasn't throwing his hands. And a lot of times he was hitting Skeet, and you're thinking, throw your hands with it, and he just again, shells up and starts again. Like going forward, he's got a lot to work on. He was lucky. Let's be real. I'll be real. He was lucky he didn't get a DQ, because he should have. If Skeet just stayed down, then the ref said, that's it. But
I was saying Skeet should fall down. If I was Skeet, I'd have collapsed.
Skeet's a passion merchant, man. Why did he get up?
I'd have got up here, and as I got up, I'd have wobbled over and collapsed.
Nah, he didn't want to get up. No, because he didn't want. He wasn't a passion merchant. He wanted to stay down, but he felt the pressure of the crowd booing.
The boo was too much.
The ref put a pressure on him to get up. Like the ref said, "Look, stay down. Don't take as long as you need." Then the ref came over again and said, "If you don't get up, I'm gonna have to stop the fight." So actually stop him. So it was the pressure from both sides, but my man wanted to milk that. He was on the floor for time. So yeah,
Lima was shouting, "Get up, get up!"
I was shouting at the ringside. I was literally there, get up, man. Nah,
I thought it was gonna be like Andre. What's the name? The Durrell brother. Is it Andre?
Yeah. Oh,
it's Andre Durrell.
I was saying in the files, someone did this and they got pulled out in it. They said, "Yeah, you lost."
Yeah. It was I think it was Andre Durrell still. I think it was him, but he's won a fight where he did that against Arthur Abraham. Arthur Abraham clocked him when he was down. Man pretended he was dead. Fam, he got the win. He got the win. So boy, the president.
Hey, by all means necessary, man. By all means necessary. But yeah,
to be shameless.
Lots of work for Shiraz to do.
I'll say
the other big fight of the night was obviously Devin Haney, and his fight with Joseph Diaz. I've only watched the highlights. I think we all went Haney decision. Yeah. Am I right in saying that? Yeah. I mean,
who didn't think? I feel like the silence was a bit.
There's someone, but maybe not on this podcast. I'm sure maybe there's someone in the chat that thought they were smart to go Haney knockout, but I just never.
Like that. I mean, that's free money.
Yeah, I just never feel like I can convincingly sit there and be like Haney's gonna stop someone. And I watched the highlights of the fight, and that was a pretty good fight actually. I thought Haney took a few good left hands flush, and I haven't. It's always difficult to score a fight after just watching highlights, but I thought it was quite close actually. From the highlights. No,
it wasn't close. Haney won most of the early rounds. Like it was just keeping him at range.
Maybe the highlights were biased then. Trying to make it as close.
Don't get it wrong. Diaz later on in the fight was competitive in there, and to me, he won like 3 or 4 rounds, especially the 12th where he hurt Haney. But the flow of the fight is early. Haney was just outboxing him for fun. Then Diaz found his range and started clocking him with the left hand. And because the way Haney was doing was trying to defend the shot that Diaz was throwing, it kept missing. That his glove wasn't catching the shot, and Diaz was hitting him. And my issue with that is Haney clearly doesn't like getting hit. Obviously, no one likes getting hit, but you can tell there's a notable reaction from Haney when he gets hit. And the problem is Diaz isn't a big puncher. For me, he's a blown up super featherweight. Like that's where he's done most of his work. So he's not really a lightweight, a punching lightweight. I'm scared for him when he links up with the likes of Tank. That if Tank hits him the way Diaz was hitting him, he's going to sleep. 100. Like I have no doubt about it. But in saying that though, Haney, what I really, really like about Devin Haney is his punch placement, the way he throws his shots. Like he's so good at landing his shots, and he'll throw good combinations. If he wants to hit you with a certain jab or certain right hand or certain left hook, he will hit you with it and he'll set it up beautifully. But his issue is his punches don't garner respect. And it will be like for me, if I was Haney, I'm never moving up past 135. I am staying where I am. Because boy, if he tries to go anywhere, he's just gonna walk through him because it just doesn't hit hard enough.
Hard to disagree with that. Dapo,
sorry, guys,
how you doing, man? You were supposed to be on the podcast today, mate.
Sorry, I was celebrating my birthday today. Sorry about that, boys.
Bro, it's been your birthday for like 5 days, fam.
Hey, man, when you go like that, man. You're jealous. But yeah, listen, quick one from me, guys. Oscar #World Peace said Lyndon Arthur was gonna win by decision, and said that Haney was going to stop Jojo Diaz. Can we please maybe review this guy's place in the group chat, please? Because his predictions are getting worse and worse and worse.
He also thinks Ronaldo's better than Messi.
Mr. Oscar World Peace gentleman, because his predictions are getting crazy.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, man.
I'm up and jump off.
That's it. I'm going to jump off now, guys. I just have to cook that guy. Oscar World
Thanks for that beautiful contribution, Dapo. Enjoy your birthday.
Crazy predictions. Thank you, guys.
No problem. Anyway, yeah, Oscar is an actual bum. Anyway, he's a real life bum. He's arguing with him is just like arguing with my missus. Do you know what I mean? It's just just don't see logic. You know, everything's all emotive. Anyway, yeah. Sorry, going back to Haney then. So. Any concerns? Obviously, Jide, you've raised your concerns there. Leroy, Sam's name. Do you agree with Jide's reservations about Haney? And he's 4 fights now without a stoppage, gone the distance for 4 fights in a row. Does he have the power to really make headway in this division?
It is problematic, isn't it? As much as I proper rate Haney, I think he's like technically sound. He's a superb boxer. Like he's elite boxing ability. The lack of power is peak, man. Like, and if you start stepping up through the weights, you are gonna get to the point where people can start disrespecting you and just try and walk through you. If they don't feel enough to keep you honest, it's long. And the thing is, he is young, and I do feel like he potentially might grow into get that old man strength behind him. But
he's 23 now, though.
Yeah, but then you still see
your strength doesn't peak for way longer than that, man. He's not going to really get his man strength for another 3-4 years.
Where maybe he might need to jump into like Canelo's camp, because I swear he's like part of the snack program. So Victor Conte's got to step up his game, like.
No, but the thing is, with power, like obviously a lot of it's just biomechanical. It's like you have it or you don't. I mean, I actually disagree with Jide in that I agree with him in terms of his power is suspect at the moment, and it's going to be hard for him against the really elite guys with that power. But in terms of going up in weight, it depends on how he does it, because there are some things you can change and there's some things you can't change. And if he actually goes up, because he even said in his interview, I struggle to make the weight 135. I'm going to move up to 140, but it depends on how he moves up to 140. So where he puts the size on in his body. So like he's going to need to work on his legs. He's going to need to work on his legs and basically his rotational power. Like that's where he's going to need to put the size on, because if he doesn't do that, then yeah, I completely agree. He's going to struggle. But you might find, because some people, as they move up in weight, they can actually like get more powerful, depending on how they do it. So that's an opportunity. But I agree, it's going to be a problem, because you can't see Tank with that type of power. But Devin Haney will win every round, but Tank will just keep coming forward. he just won't stop because you've got nothing to deter him. So that will be a problem. And like Ryan Garcia, as much as I'm not a fan for so many reasons, the kick and hit. The kick and hit, and that's undeniable as well. So you might struggle in those big fights, but as a boxer, beautiful.
What next for Haney anyway? What's the next fight? Where's he gonna go?
We have to have Cambodia.
Aussie, it's going down under.
Does he win that fight?
Yeah, he wins that fight definitely. But the problem with the problem with the thing is Haney, because he's with Eddie, because he's with the zone. Eddie's getting frozen out, and Haney's getting frozen out. So it's like a double thing where people don't like any of them, and they want to actually kind of freeze him out. So if he has the titles, then he can get the fights he needs.
Yeah.
If he doesn't have the titles, I don't see how he gets the fights.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense, right? If people are freezing you out, you've got to kind of make yourself not always going to work, as seen with Canelo, but Canelo's a bit of a different entity. But if you've got a belt worth going after, then it's hard to ignore you, right? So
yeah, if he gets all the belts, he'll fight everyone but Tank, because Tank's already said, I don't care about them belts. He's already said he wants to fight Kambosos, but he doesn't care about them belts. So forget about the Tank fight. That's never happening.
The worst thing that could happen in that division is if Tank gets them belts.
Yeah, the very worst thing. And I'm so angry at Lou DiBella for entertaining. It's like he's trying to use Kambosos to get back in with the PBC. Like I feel like I have to start rating Al Heyman. Like he can fuck people over and do a bunch of madness, but these men still want to be associated with him no matter what, because man is trying to sell Kambosos to Tank. When
They're
Tank,
the money.
Bro, it's not even about the money. There's no way Tank is paying you enough versus what you can make in Australia. Like Tank, the 200k pay-per-view that everyone loves hyping up, the guaranteed purse for his opponent was 500k. Kambosos will make way more than that in Australia, and Tank isn't going to go Australia. So it just don't make sense what Lou DiBella is trying to do.
I want to go Australia.
Because, bro, you're asking why won't a PBC guy go Australia? Come on.
He came here?
Tank fought in the UK, didn't he?
Who did he fight in the
UK? Smith.
Liam
Walsh, sorry, yeah.
Liam Walsh. Because it's Liam. Look at Liam Walsh. He's not going to go to... He's not going to go...
Tank is going to look at Kambosos the same way he looks at Ian Roach. It's going to be like, that's food.
Exactly. It's straight food. Easy work.
If Tank goes Australia,
You lot will be very disrespectful to Kambosos, by the way.
Nah, he done well, but the audience are looking at him like food.
They are. They don't rate him. They actually look at him.
But that's dangerous, though. That's dangerous because I'm pretty sure Teofimo had the same attitude.
Exactly, but I don't feel like...
Teofimo had a collapsed lung, remember? So
that's bullshit. The thing is, I don't feel like any other top guy will look at Kambosos the way Teo looked at him. They will have a bit more respect for him. However, they know they can beat him. But for me, if Tank goes to Australia to fight Kambosos, my agenda with him will drop for a bit, because
for a bit, yeah.
Yeah, just for a bit, because I feel easy to fight guys that are actually good. Like Floyd, one of my favorite boxers ever, was out here throwing shade at Canelo and saying, why ain't Tank one of the pound for pound guys? I'm like, bro, come on, man. It's like, anyway, let's not go there. This is not about Tank. But
we can talk about Tank because he is fighting tonight.
He's fighting a guy who's gonna knock out for fun. Tank is like 5'5", and he's fighting a guy shorter than him with shorter reach. Come on, man.
Isaac Cruz is a better fighter than Rolly. Much better fight.
Listen, they're both suspect top 10. They're not top 10 guys. Either Rolly or Isaac Cruz are not top 10. None of them are. And they're fighting and they're trying to hype up this fight.
Isaac Cruz was a prospect a couple fights ago. People were
saying, Isaac Cruz as when the distance. He likes to war. Remember, this guy, the selling point is Isaac Cruz likes to war. He doesn't stop anyone. He's a guy that likes to war with you but doesn't have the power to stop you. And now you're bringing that war.
The mini Mike Tyson.
Huh?
The mini Mike Tyson, that's what they're calling him.
Listen,
who is calling him that, Sam? I feel like you.
You need to change Sam's _SBM to PBC Sams. I really feel it. You need to change that. You need to change that name.
I'm just calling it out as what they're promoting. That's what I'm saying. Do you know what I'm saying?
Listen, Cruz is gonna get his head blocked up. It might even be 2 rounds. Like he's just gonna get absolutely stopped. So,
he's lost before, right?
Yeah,
about time ago. No one knows who he lost to. Yeah, who knows, man? Who knows? We'll see. He's a big favorite.
we know how this fight's going.
Stranger things have happened, man. We all thought we knew the way Tio fight. We're gonna go with Kambosos.
If Isaac Cruz beats Tank here, boy, we'll gain tape. I am spending. We're having a party. I am spending.
Look at Naeem's fun. Naeem's very happy, you know. He wants Cruz to win.
Listen, I can't go Nigeria anymore. I'll use that money. We'll go and take.
Hey, can you go Nigeria anyway? Red list.
Red list.
Red list, man.
Oh, okay. I thought you said you're not going to go Nigeria. You're going to spend all your money at tape.
Nah, man, we're getting tape. I'll spend the piece I was going to spend at Nigerian tape. If Cruz beats Tank, I'll be so happy because I need that house of fun.
Nah, BLM, I can't have it still. Can't have it.
Anyway, lads, I did want to talk a little bit about Lomachenko's fight and Conor Benn's fight next week, but I feel like we're not going to have too much time. Mrs. is saying, you know, dinner's ready downstairs. Got to call it a night, unfortunately, guys. But yeah, they got deadlines and all of that. You know what I mean? So. Got to stick to some of them at least, you know. Oh, wow. Anyway, yeah, guys, pleasure having you on. It's good to be back. It's been a great weekend. The vein in my forehead has just stopped pulsating, so that's always a good sign. I you know, hopefully I've not burst any blood vessels or anything like that. Otherwise, Leroy, you'll be seeing me at your practice tomorrow. But yeah, have a good evening, guys. What time is the Tank fight on? Is it on at a stupid time, or are we gonna be able to watch it?
Stupid time.
It's not on UK TV, is it?
No. I don't think so.
What a weird weird.
It is on at this time. It is on at this time because no one cares. It's not making money.
No, it's because the lightweight division. When you actually think about it, the run up to Christmas is actually mad for fights, and they put that fight in quite late in it. So,
see, this is why they scheduled it because this is what Sam's told them at the meeting.
I can't wait till people ask them to release the pay-per-view numbers and they don't. I can't wait for that. They're not going to release the pay-per-view numbers, and we know why.
They might have to fudge them.
Oh, they've been fudging them, but this time they're not even going to try to fudge them. They're not just going to release them. So I can't wait.
I don't like spuds and parsnips, but yeah, maybe a cheeky Yorkshire pud. Anyway, guys, take it easy. Use Ringside Fracas as hashtag, and we'll be back hopefully next Sunday as well to review the Conor Benn fight and obviously the Tank fight as well. Take it easy, guys.
See you.
Easy.